plaintiff, Erica Johnson, says the defendant is her father, and he has always been a great role model. Erica claims when she was 18, she got locked up for stealing clothes, and her father was there for her. But she's suing him today for unpaid rent. Defendant Eric Johnson says he moved his family from Inglewood to Indianapolis to escape the crack epidemic because he saw a lot of his family members fall victim to drugs. Eric does not believe he owes Erica for anything.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay. Well, I want to start off by saying first that I love my father so much, and he knows I do. I do. And he's been there for me my entire life. He's been a great role model in my life. We come from Inglewood, California, and it was a lot of stuff going on back then in the 80s, so my parents made a decision to move us away from there. So we moved to Indianapolis in like 1995. I was about 13 years old. And it was a big like culture shock for me, you know, going from laid back California, then now I'm here in Green Acres. They used to talk about me too. They used to say my clothes look weird and I talk weird like a valley girl.
In Indiana you moved to? What city?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis is not a country town.
Well, I think
State capital.
It depends on where you're at sometimes.
Capital, right? You moved into the country area. Babyface from there, and they had the top hits in the country during that time, and that certainly didn't come from country producers. And I have friends from Indianapolis. They just as street slick as anybody else.
And they are.
Oh, don't try to think these folks is country now.
Oh no, I just meant where I was from. It was more, you know, it was a little bit more culture out there.
Inglewood? What culture is coming out of Inglewood?
Like the fashion. The fashion is different.
Inglewood.
Yeah, the fashion
Last time I was
different.
there, everybody was walking around with the pants down, showing their underwear.
Well,
what other fashion you talking about? That's the fashion you talking about? No, they don't want that
sir.
in Indianapolis. You right. Let's move on, man.
Okay. Right. Indianapolis, I love you guys. Moving right along.
That's right. Don't cross my Indianapolis
Right.
people.
Okay, so, you know, my parents, they, like I said, they made the conscious decision to move away and give us a better life. And it was. I loved it.
How did you do in school and
I did pretty well
that?
in school. Now, I did get in trouble one time when I turned 18. I was stealing clothes.
Stealing?
And my mama told me, because she see me keep coming home with these clothes with no tags, she said, "You gonna get locked up and you better not call me either." So I didn't. Called my dad. And he was there to help me through that. And he told me that one time when he was 18, he got locked up for stealing.
Okay, well, then that's the only difference I've heard so far, because they don't steal in Inglewood.
Right. No, don't do that.
Yeah, I'll leave you alone about that. So what'd you do after school? High school or whatever?
Yeah, I graduated from high school, and you know, I just worked. I worked as a dental assistant for a while, and then I started getting into like the community and working with kids. I had a leadership camp called Joshua Leadership Camp, and my dad did help me with that a lot too. He was there.
What years did you do that?
I did that in 2012, 2013, where I was just taking like underprivileged kids, and I would take them to different spots in Indianapolis and show them different sides of Indianapolis that they had never seen.
Good.
So that was one of the things I did.
Give you a hand for that.
Thank you very much. And like I said, my father helped out with that a lot as well, setting
You
up
and him
obstacle
have always
courses.
had a good relationship?
Yes,
That's the essence of what you're saying? And did he moved in with you at some point?
Yes. In 2004, my parents, they got a divorce. They became empty nesters. So they got a divorce, but they was kind of like on again, off again. I stayed out their business because I stay out grown folks' business. That's what they told me. So around July of 2020, my dad was kind of like in between.
Mike Epps is from Indianapolis.
I know.
Go ahead.
I know
Go ahead.
it.
And that's
What's up,
my
Mike
man.
Epps?
Go ahead.
Okay. So then my dad, he asked if he can come stay with me because he was in between homes at the time. And I agreed, and I told him that if we're going to do that, then because he teaches me business. I told him, you're going to have to sign an agreement, so I won't just be left out there. And he did.
Okay, now that we at that point, let me allow him to give some background, and then we can resume at that point. Sir?
Well, I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. I got married when I was like 22. I had a family. And at the time, in the 80s and 90s, it was bad, man. The drug and the crack epidemic was bad. And I've seen a lot of my family members, go through that, drugs.
You?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. I never.
Okay.
With the lure of selling drugs and being in that fast lifestyle and getting that money, it didn't appeal to me because I've seen my family members go through that. So I was like, I got to do something. And at the time, it was Reaganomics, the job I had a good job, and they shut it down. So I was like, man, we got to get out of here. We got to make a change, for not only for us, for the kids' sake. So we put our heads together and we moved to Indiana. Started a life. I got a job. And
when you moved out, wasn't it a middle-class neighborhood?
It was the hood, Manchester.
When you first moved in?
Yeah.
And in the 80s?
Yeah.
What caused it is just what you said. The crack cocaine epidemic caused Inglewood to become a more crime-infested and failing, impoverished community, and with poverty comes crime and drugs. Yeah, that's what happens. And same thing happened in many parts of Indianapolis. So when you got there, how did things go?
Thanks.
She told me either you were a thief or you turned into a thief when you got to Indianapolis.
Well,
and you wasn't stealing in Inglewood, were you? Were you stealing in Inglewood?
Yes, sir.
So you couldn't stop stealing wherever you went. So moving didn't change. Moving doesn't change anything, huh?
No.
That's what the lesson here is that you can move where you want, but unless you stop your destructive behavior, you're going to do the same thing. No. People move because of crack. Well, they got crack in every city in America. People move because of opioids. They got opioids in every city in America. Everybody that I know that moved for drugs, within 60 days, they found the drug house and was getting high again. And so that's the point I'm making about people thinking just because they move, it's going to be a better environment. No, you have to move up here and in here.
Right.
You have to use your strength because once again, you were a thief there and you were a thief in Indianapolis. Are you a thief now?
No, sir.
Good. All right. When did you stop being a thief?
Man, it's been years.
Huh?
It's been years, John.
Good. Okay. Yeah. All right. So how did you get into a life of crime in Indianapolis?
Just opportunity. I felt like I was slicker than everybody, so coming from the city. So I put what I learned in the city in Indianapolis.
Okay. How about you? When did you start stealing?
Well, like I said, it was only one time I've ever been locked up in my life.
I know.
And it was for stealing clothes, and that was only one time.
So you never stole in Inglewood?
No.
Okay, good.
And my dad, when he told that story to me about him stealing, he was 18 too. That was the point of him telling me that story.
But he had moved, telling you.
Oh,
right,
okay.
but I'm talking about what he told me.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You get your own story. I got my story. I'm gonna work with my story now.
That's right.
The story he gave me. He give you a story. That's your dad.
Right.
But I know the game backwards and forwards. I know how it go. That's why I broke that down real quick.
Gotcha.
All right. So Indianapolis didn't help him at all on the stealing tip. How does he owe you for rent?
Well, he moved in July of 2020, and we signed a standard lease agreement, which I have. And basically it said that he would pay me $300 a month until April of 2021. And when we first initially signed the agreement, he did initially pay the $300 starting off. And then after that, in August, he came to me and he said, you know what, baby, I'm not going to be able to pay that $300. Can I pay you $100 until I get my taxes back and I'll back pay you? And I said that was fine because I I did his taxes, so certainly, I didn't think nothing of it. And besides, he was helping me with my kids a lot. My boys, they're in sports. I can't be everywhere all the time, and he did help me out a lot with that. So I never questioned it. I just waited for the time to come. But that's basically what I'm doing.
When was the last time you asked for your money?
I didn't ask him because I just felt like it was kind of disrespectful.
Okay, so you've never asked for your money.
Yes, I asked.
They say, when are you going to pay me?
That's kind of how it sounds. Hey, Dad, when you going to pay me?
Okay, so you did ask.
Yes, in the most nice way I could.
When was the most recent time you asked for your money?
The most recent time, let me see, July, August, probably like September.
Okay, and what did he say?
He really didn't answer it. He was like, well, baby, he's like, I'm gonna get you taken care of. Remember what I said? When I get my taxes, I'm gonna back pay. Don't worry about it.
Let's see what he says today, sir. Your daughter says you owe her rent and you haven't paid it. He says you agreed July of 20 and now you've $2,700 behind.
Well, I did initially. We signed the agreement. I paid her the $300. And in between that time, I wasn't staying there the full time. But when I was there, I was helping with the kids and taking the kids with the football practice, picking them up, taking them where they needed to go to school and back and forth.
What do you say for the fact that he took his grandkids around?
Well, they are still his grandkids at the end of the day.
Tell him.
Dad, come on, man. They're your grandkids. You can't say no to them faces. Come on.
You're using it as a defense to your lawsuit.
Nah. Could you ask a question again, Your Honor?
What's your defense? And you said your defense was that you took your grandkids and helped them. You drove them around.
Over that period of time.
Helped them.
Yeah.
And so therefore, that money should be deducted, meaning you are charging for the rides and the help you've given to your own grandkids. How much do you think should be offset? How much you want? You want the whole $2,700 for giving them a ride, your grandkids? How old are they? 5?
Well,
6?
16.
How old?
16, 12.
Okay. All right, yeah, I want my money too. I gotta drive a 12-year-old around. I wouldn't offset it on the rent. I'd have to have mine right there from them.
From the grandkids.
I'd have to get it off my 12-year-old right then. He'd have to pay me. Oh, no. Granddad, can you take you? What you got on there? Got on this gas.
Oh, man.
Hourly. How much you charge an hour? How much you charge an hour? You gotta tell me the amount you charge if you want me to take it off of the debt. I will take it off. You got a good point. I will take it off. It is an injustice for you not to be paid for work that you've done. How much you want an hour for giving your grandkids a ride?
Hey, it was priceless. I mean, so that's the way I feel, Your Honor.
So that's what you
priceless,
get. That's what you get, priceless. All right, if that's your only defense, I'm gonna grant your judgment and let him go ahead and be priceless and moneyless. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
I love you, Dad. I love you so much, honey.
I love you, baby.
I just want to tell my dad that I love him so much, and if he did want to get that money, my son did just start a job, so you probably want to hit him up for that. And thank you for being in my life. You're a wonderful man, and I love you, man. I love you, Pops.
All I can say is I love you, and when we leave out of here, we still family tighter than ever. So
That's
I love
right.
you, sweetheart.
For sure.